It's me, SPILLIN 79. A bunch of PS1 games. I can just walk in and out of thrift store. Hello gamers, it's me, SPILLIN 79. It's my show. Glad to be back, and hello gamers, it's me, SPILLIN 79. It's my show. Glad to be back to do another video. Wanted to talk about my top 5 games that I'm close to finishing. Not in any particular order. It's just that, have you ever had those games that you have made it close to the end and you didn't finish it because either level ups of bosses or something basically was too challenging and it was just too difficult for you to get to the end or complete the game as a whole? My homeboy, he was telling me not too long ago, he was at the end of Ni no Kuni, and Ni no Kuni kind of breaks down into 3 boss levels. First you got the one boss, then you got the boss that you fight and it dies and he comes back again and you got to fight him again, and then you have, I think you have another boss that you have to fight. And so you have to continuously level up your characters and continuously do all these things. I think that the end part took me about an hour and a half. I can't even remember. I stayed up more than half the night beating that game. The game itself took me somewhere between 50 to 70 hours to complete it. But anyway, wanted to get into my list of games that have basically frustrated me to no end, and I am real close to beating it. I'm either at the end or real close to the end and just can't get past certain hurdles of the game. First game is Shank Part 1. Got this years ago. I think I got it years ago as a downloadable game on my 360 or PS3. I can't recall. The game itself is somewhere in the middle to the low end levels as far as the game itself. Like when you're playing through the game, I mean, you face opposition, obstacles, or whatever the case may be. It's a really good game. It's kind of got the comic strip feel to it. Really good storyline and stuff like that. Action packed. I really enjoyed the game. But when you get to the end, I think you only get 1 bar and then you got 1 drink of energy. But the guy, you have to take out 2 levels, and when he comes at you, he already takes like, I think he already takes up half of your energy. So it makes it that much more challenging. I have tried at least 25 times to beat this end part, and I actually got to a point where I just gave up, and I haven't played the game in over a year. It's probably been a year and a half at this point, almost 2 years. It's been quite a while. Even part 2 came out. I think I got halfway through that one, and I'm almost beat that one as well. But yeah, it's definitely got its challenges to it. I even looked at the walkthroughs, tried to figure it out. I just wasn't able to beat the game, and I was like, man, am I not doing something right? And a lot of people, I looked down and I read about it, and a lot of people had faced some difficulties of their own. Some people just breezed right through it like it wasn't nothing. So I was trying to figure out, am I doing something wrong? So I kept trying because I have a lot of patience, but after a while I was like, you know what, I'm done. Next game is Outland. It's a really awesome indie title. If you haven't picked it up, I definitely would advise you to pick it up, especially if you like a game that's challenging. It's this guy that basically isn't like in a, I guess you can say Aztec era or Egyptian, somewhere between that era. From what I remember, it's been a year or so since I played this game as well. What's really cool is this guy, it's a side scroller, which I love side scrollers, and he basically develops all these great powers. I think the gods or something like that kind of gives him all these powers. Well, there's a point in the game where you can switch the character from blue to red. So whenever you're trying to destroy something, you have to switch the character to red, or you have to switch them to blue. But there's also points where there's like hundreds and hundreds of dots on the screen, and they're coming in like waves. And the waves that come, some of them are blue and then some of them are red. But there's only like this much gap in between each wave, so you got to hurry up and switch the characters' colors and keep that motion. It's almost like a rhythm type game. So even though it's a side scroller, it's an action game, this game is very, very challenging. There are parts where you're trying to jump from one platform to the next, and you got to switch the color in order to grab something to be the opposite color or the direct color or whatever it is. And I was basically livid with the game. I don't get very frustrated with a lot of games, but this game is very, very difficult, very, very challenging. So now I'm at the point where I'm trying to finish the game and I'm stuck. So I might have to go back, start over, and do it all over again. Now, the next game that I got on my list of games that I'm close to finishing is Rygar. Rygar for the PS2. I found this game last year, not even knowing that the game even existed. I thought the one for the arcade and NES were the only ones. But when I found this game, I picked it up, I played it, I enjoyed it. He had the shield that could extend out with the chain and everything, and it's a 3D motion type game or whatever, or 3D open world, well, sort of an open world type game. It's really, really fun. The only crazy thing is I had gotten so many power-ups, but there's certain weapons, there's certain power-ups and certain things that I missed, and you can't go back. So I'm like stuck in between this world, and it's just crazy because I'm at the end boss, and I've tried to beat him, and I'm just stuck. I'm really, really stuck, and I'm trying to figure out how in the hell am I going to be able to finish this game. And so it's really, really challenging. So I'm still trying to figure it out what I'm going to do. It's looking as though I'm going to have to start over on this game because there's some things that I missed out on yet again, and it's definitely got some challenges to it. But it's not too challenging to where you won't enjoy the game. But it's a really, really good game. So I would suggest picking it up. Now the next game, I believe. It's been a while since I played it. I think it's Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. It's either that or Two Thrones. I think it's, no, it is Sands of Time. Well, it's got to be Two Thrones. I think this is the one where he switches between the good guy and the bad guy. And I got to the end of this game, but I'm a big fan of Prince of Persia, and with that game comes a lot of challenges. If you've never played the original one, I would suggest picking it up. It's set on a certain time, and then you have to beat the game within a certain time and everything, and there's all kinds of stuff that pop out of the ground like spikes and ledges and all that kind of crazy. But this was a really good game. He basically, because the sands are like possessed or something like that, he becomes possessed, and this inner spirit or whatever comes out of him, and it lasts for a certain period of time. And he's got this long chain that extends out of his arms, kind of like the whole Kratos thing. And you basically become that character for a certain period of time during the sands. I mean, while you're on certain areas, platforms. So the game has a little bit of level of difficulty, but it's a really, really fun game. It really is. But the end part of the game is the most challenging part. You have to jump from platform to platform to platform to platform in order to get to the top, to get to the final boss, to be able to strike him a few times. Then you fall back down, and then you got to do it again, and then fall back down, and you got to do it again and again and again. So it's one of those, it's an exhausting type game. It will drive you crazy. So needless to say, I'm stuck on that game too. I've been trying to figure out how in the hell am I going to be able to beat this guy. So now I think I'm going back through it again. It's got to be Two Thrones or something like that, or The Warrior Within. I'm trying to remember. I think it is A Warrior Within. I'll pull it up, and hopefully I'll be able to put some gameplay up and stuff like that. But yeah, and the final game is Guacamelee. The original, not the, there's a new edition. I guess it's got, I don't know if it's got additional stuff added on. Tron was telling me about that. He was telling me about the game. Well, he was telling me about the flash sale for PSN. But and I think the one he showed me was a champion edition or something like that. It's a special edition. But the original one that I got was Guacamelee, and it's basically about this wrestler, a Mexican wrestler, and he basically possesses all these powers and stuff like that. He has like 4 or 5 different types of powers, special special uppercuts, special type moves. He can do all kinds of crazy things. He can leap in the air, do the double jump type thing. He can get to certain high platforms. He can run up walls. He can do all kinds of crazy things. The only thing is, this game is really challenging. I have to say, I use the walkthrough through this game a lot, because there is a certain part where you go from one wall or one platform to another, but in order to get from here to here, you have to do some crazy moves of kind of like the same thing of Outland, of flipping and switching the character. So it's really, really crazy. And I've gotten to the end, and the boss is really hard. There was a couple sections before that where like 5 or 6 enemies were coming, and I had to flip and switch the color of the character in order to kill that character. Like one character was green and one was yellow, which means you had to switch to an uppercut, or you had to switch to a run up the wall, or you have to switch to a super uppercut or power up, or being able to unleash certain powers. So it's a really, really fun title. All these games that I've mentioned today, and I have plenty of others that are on my list. These are just the top 5 that I could think of. I may add on another list of other games that I'm close to finishing. And these games, I've actually put them all down, and I probably haven't played them in... Guacamelee probably is the closest one that I've played, like the most recent. But tell me what your list is, if you have any games that you are at the end and you just dropped them and stopped playing them just because of the level of difficulty. But other than that, I'm SPILLIN79. I'm out. Oh yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the like button. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching my videos.